Let's get ready for a post-apocalyptic battle of grit and glory. It's Gaslands UK, Car of the Month. Let's roll! Welcome to Gaslands UK Car of the Month. And we're back again to bring you the most insane post-apocalyptic diecast builds from the wasteland. This month's contest is packed with jaw-dropping rides, all meticulously crafted with a fierce combination of 3D printed parts, scrap, superglue, and raw creativity. From battle-scarred muscle cars to lightning-fast speedsters, these builds are designed to survive and dominate. So, buckle up, because the wasteland waits for no one, and only the toughest machines will survive. Before we dive into the post-apocalyptic madness, let's take a moment to give a huge shout-out to our fantastic sponsor this month, Camil Designs. If you're looking to take your Gaslands builds to the next level, then Camil Designs is where you need to go. They specialise in some of the highest standard 3D printed parts on the market, perfect for the hardcore customiser. Their products are made from ABS-like resin, which offers high strength and durability alongside extremely fine detail. So whether you're crafting a scrappy speedster or a battle-hardened tank, these parts are going to stand up to the most extreme wasteland warfare. Camil Designs doesn't just stop at providing parts. They've thought about the whole process and have developed an incredibly handy wheel configuration tool, which makes deciding on the perfect tyre and rim sizes for your build a breeze. And of course, what would a contest be without some killer prizes? This month, Fran at Camil has offered 3 incredible prize vouchers. In first place, you will take home a £30 voucher to spend on the entire online store. In second place, you score a £20 voucher. And third place, you'll nab a £10 voucher. That's right. Whether you're after weapons, wheels, engines, or even bespoke accessories, you'll have access to some of the finest 3D printed upgrades to boost your next Gaslands creation into legend. To mark the 6th anniversary of our sponsor, Camil, we have a theme that's just dying for your creativity. 6 foot under. That's right, this time we're going underground, quite literally. This theme is wide open for interpretation, and we can't wait to see what you come up with. But if you need a little inspiration, we've got 3 devilishly dark paths for you to explore. Number 1, subterranean or digging vehicles. Think tunnelling terror machines that chew through the earth like it's their playground. Whether they're mining for mayhem or designed to survive the depths of the wasteland, these vehicles are built for the underground. Number 2, funeral or coffin related cars. Now, here's where you can really lay down some grim designs. Hearses, coffin dragsters, and vehicles straight out of a mortuary. Let's see your creativity rise from the grave. Number 3, death traps on wheels. What's a death race without some deadly rides? We're talking about cars that are a danger to anyone foolish enough to take the wheel. Unsafe, unhinged, and guaranteed to crash and burn. Just make sure they look fierce doing it. So, whether you're digging deep, dealing in death, or designing doom, show us your best builds, and let's send these rides 6 foot under. And as we introduced last month, we now go direct to the judges themselves to get constructive criticism on your build. So let's hear what they have to say about your builds this month.
Alright, how you doing? This month I have the pleasure of looking at and reviewing Arise Lightspear's build for the 6 foot under Car of the Month competition. Arise is the master of metal manipulation. Go and have a look at his posts on the Gaslands UK Facebook page. There are some amazing modifications on his previous builds using thin sheet metal. I have taken lots of inspiration myself from his approach to building vents and armour out of aluminium sheet. Onto his build for 6 foot under. It is an interesting combination of hearse-stroke station wagon with a giant drill mounted on the front. The body of the car hasn't been modified too much, but the chassis looks to have been completely scratch built and is where the majority of the work and customising has gone on. There's a nice mix of scratch-built, salvaged and 3D printed parts across the build. The rails and engine look good, but both could do with some extra weathering or dirtying up, so they merge better with the rest of the car. They are just a bit bright and shiny at the moment. As for the 3D printed parts, there are some nice details and extra bits, but sadly they are all really let down by very obvious layer lines that are present on just about every piece. You might have got away with it on the front drill if you had added some texture in the way of thick rust or dirt. The layers are very obvious on other components too, like the barrels and the front wheels. The front wheels would have been better if they matched the rear ones, or at least shared some aesthetic qualities and finish. Perhaps having caterpillar tracks might have suited the build better. The selection of accessories and extra details work well and add some character. Possibly mirroring the coffin print might have changed them just enough so they aren't as obviously the same model. I'm not a fan of the purple windscreen. It looks very out of place. It's too clean and the bright coloured tint makes it stand out as a focal point. The section sticking into the engine bay is very distracting too and draws the eye away from the nice work done in that area. It could have done with either trimming back or painting over. The main body of the car has a really nice paint job. The pale and faded blue contrasts really well with the rust and dirt effects. Overall, I'd say this build isn't quite up to your usual standards, but nonetheless, it is a good solid piece.
What a great build we have here. Right off the bat, it's superb use of details on this flaming six-wheeled stretch hearse. The front ram and roof rack scream graveyard fencing right away, and the change gives them just that little extra detail to be very convincing. I do like the casket, it's well done, it fits right in with the graveyard fencing, makes it a whole, and the figurine really brings the piece to life. I'm loving the skull lantern and the little in-period gun that goes with it. Looks very cool. Then the extra added radiator and headlamps are a very cool addition to fill up the negative space for that massive supercharged engine that's behind it. And those are bejeweled with an awesome set of organ pipe exhausts. They look really cool, makes it very, very evil looking. And of course, the Nitro edition is very well done. Build-wise, it's very well stretched. You can't see where it has been done. It's well executed. And I do like the little touch of the beja bone shaker front end that's used at the rear to be a spooky back piece or armor. The wheels and the weaponized hubcaps do suit this car very well. It gives it all rounded feel as a whole, and it feels very balanced and believable with the addition of the awesome little details. I do like all the little lanterns. They just make it the whole a great theme. I do think it's very well painted. The weathering looks good on every material where applied. The only negative I could say, given that the flames do look a bit dull as a single car, they could use a bit more highlighting to make the color pop or make them more extravagant. It makes a bit dull. The rest is very well done. Maybe a bit more crisper work on the flame shape or the pattern of the flames could help out a lot here, or just, well, make it half and half, and that would make it a lot better. All by all, it's a very nice thought-out build, and I'm pretty sure you should be pretty proud of displaying this piece anywhere.
Let's take a look at Jorrel Bessey's entry for this month. Now, this mining machine, it's a bit of a curiosity, and there's a few things here and there that I really like, and a few things that leave me really puzzled, so I thought this month we might drill down into the build in a bit more detail. First of all, it's definitely on theme. It's clearly some sort of mining or tunnelling vehicle with the big old conical drill at the front, and that drill, it's quite basic modelling wise, but it's very clear what it's meant to be. It's immediately identifiable as a drill, and that certainly does the job. Likewise, that cab has a really distinct industrial digger-like feel, with those chunky floodlights and the big roll bars. It definitely feels like the sort of thing you'd find on a mining site. It's a real shame that there isn't a driver, or at least one that we can see on the photographs, but it definitely captures the industrial, chunky vibe you seem to be going for. The two guns on the front half of the vehicle, I don't think they really add anything, to be honest. You don't need guns for it to be Gasland. And it's not really clear how these are operated or controlled. They're very, very large for what appear to just be regular machine guns. And they don't actually appear to have any ammunition anyway, so they're probably not that much of a problem. The thing I find confusing about this build is the way that the two halves of the vehicle are connected. Now, at first, I thought this was some sort of tunnel boring machine, with sections that follow on from each other, like a whole rolling factory on a train. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be that we have a tracked cab vehicle at the back, and then this drill on tracks at the front. But the two halves are connected by links of metal chain. There's no wiring, no piping, no sort of strong connection between the two. And it isn't clear how the front half, where the drill is controlled by the driver in the cab in the back half. It almost suggests that the front half is pulling the back half like a trailer. It's currently slack because it's not in motion, but maybe when the drill speeds up, it drags along the body behind it. But that doesn't make any sense because the cab is at the back. So maybe the cab with its big pushing bars is actually shunting into the back of the drill and then shoving it along in front of it. But that also doesn't really make any sense, and it's not clear again how that would work with tracks, which presumably need some sort of power source to operate, and how you would steer it or control it being a tracked vehicle. Overall, my advice is have a bit more of a think about how your vehicle is actually supposed to work. You don't have to be an engineer or a motor mechanic. I'm not expecting real-world suspension and engine wiring arrangements like some of my fellow judges might be. I'm not an engineer, I just know what looks right, and this unfortunately looks a bit wrong. If you're going for something a little more unusual, especially, so a tracked vehicle or a vehicle with multiple sections, it should still be very clear how the overall vehicle works. So, thank you very much for your entry, Jorrel. Do keep on digging, and I look forward to seeing your future endeavours on this channel.
When I saw Michael Alberto's build, I just knew I had to review it, because if there's one thing I like, it's a build with character, and this build has a story to tell. Michael, you are one of the few entrants that chose to represent the theme of 6 feet under with a build that's more likely to do damage to the driver than any other competitor in the race. I like this concept, and you have achieved it well, with the truck buckling under the weight of the outlandishly oversized weapon. The base casting has had a lot of modification to get it to the state it is in now, and I would love to see more work in progress shots posted in the group showing how you achieved it. The buckled chassis, the popped open bonnet and the door hanging off its hinges really sell the story of just what this truck has been through. You have worked hard to bring the vehicle to life with all the damage across the whole of the build. I love the dent in the roof and the door directly under the barrel of the gun, and the smashed window screen that tells me that this gun was fired before and caused this extensive damage we see. Having so many batteries all linked up is a wonderful little detail and adds to the idea that the gun doesn't belong on this truck. The weapon itself is way too big, but you know what? I love the fact that it's comically large, as it adds so much weight to the effect you wanted. Michael, there is a lot to love about this build, but I have to say, I'm not a fan of the paint job. The base colours are okay, and you have added variation to the panels, which is always good. The problem for me is the weathering on top. It seems very rushed and sloppy compared to how it looked before when you used it in a game you posted in the Facebook group. You really need to look at the position and the size of the rust patches. The rust you have used doesn't have much colour variation, which adds texture and realism to the effect. In quite a few areas of the rust you can see the brush strokes, which distract the eye. Try to use reference material to help place rust in more natural places, and you will achieve a more believable result. The gun has a lot of dry brushing, which would be fine if it didn't look like the brush had too much paint left on it, which has left noticeable streaks that draw the eye. When dry brushing, make sure nearly all of the paint is removed from the brush to avoid this. There are plenty of tutorials online that would explain better than I can here. The yellow areas on the gun also feel a little bit like an afterthought and could do with a base coat to help with the colour and stop the colours underneath showing through. It's a fantastic build, Michael, and with a few changes you can really bring this build to life. Well done, and I will definitely be keeping an eye on your future builds.
Bonjour, mon ami! It's my pleasure to be able to review Marc Giacco's build this month. And for those of you who follow this contest will know he is consistently stepping up to the podium and dragging the quality of the submissions to this contest up by its socks. And this month is no exception. Yet another fantastically intricate and detailed model from our French maestro's workbench this month. A devilishly converted pickup truck cum coffin carrier that's expertly converted, detailed and painted. At the front end is this effective scratch-built spinning-bladed ram that looks like it could dig up your lawn faster than you can say rotary cultivator. And it's certainly visually effective as a Gaslands weapon, even if it is only going to scrape the surface when it comes to digging a grave. The wheels are a little off-scale, unfortunately, which makes this feel like the proverbial bodybuilder who skipped on leg day. I would have liked to have seen less of a gap between the wheels and the bodywork, either fatter tyres or possibly even monster truck wheels. Other accessories to this build are 3D printed, including this blower popping out the front, the window crucifix patterned armour, the spiked barricades, and the themed coffin in the back. Zooming into the detail, you can see this is labelled as belonging to Charles Kingman, who comic book and B-movie horror aficionados may remember is the living name of the Crypt Keeper from the Tales from the Crypt comic, TV show and movies of the same name.
It's me, the Crypt Keeper, with another flesh-creeping scream story for your shivering pleasure.
This is also echoed by the signage in the rear of the cap, cementing the notion that the theme for this is death, decay, grave digging and coffins, all perfectly suitable for our 6 Foot Under theme. Top that off with the hellfire flames that are expertly painted on top of the metallic purple beast, and the whole thing ties together wonderfully. Or does it? The elephant, or should I say Viking, in the room is this guy. Techno Viking. So for those of you who don't know, or are possibly too young to remember, Techno Viking was a viral video that was shot around the turn of the millennium, filmed at a German street parade. Mr. Viking is seen protecting a dancing female reveller from an inebriated guy before dancing his heart out, presumably off his Molnir on psychedelics. It spawned thousands of re-edits, parodies and memes, and is generally considered one of the greatest video memes in the early days of YouTube. So the question is, whilst it's a cool reference and immediately raises a smile, what does it have to do with this month's theme? Techno Viking has been painted excellently and really looks the part stood on the open casket behind this harpoon. But, and this is a big but, had this figure actually been the Crypt Keeper standing in his own coffin, all the thematic boxes would have been ticked. That said, once again, a superb and very high standard from one of our most skilled contributors to this contest. Excellent travail. Continuez comme ça. Something like that.
This month I have to talk about Richard Fairbrass's entry, The Luggage. Richard, consider this an intervention. You've built a beautiful monster here. The wood panelling, the patina, it's gorgeous. The whole thing is painted in a wonderful painterly style, which really captures Josh Kirby's original Discworld art. I love it. The feet are horrifying and the teeth are especially brilliant. My only criticism of the build and the paint job really is that while the different wood panelling adds some good variety, any true Discworld aficionado knows that the luggage is made from sapient pearwood, and I don't see any of that on your build here. But the theme was not Terry Pratchett, nor was it fantasy, nor was it even an October horror-themed month. The theme, Richard, was 6 Feet Under, and I know what you're going to say, because you said it on your Facebook post. It has 6 feet under. I mean, technically it has a lot more than 6, but that's not the point. The sponsors were very clear on the theme's meaning and what we as judges wanted to see. We wanted death traps, we wanted coffin cars, we wanted grave diggers, we wanted digging and mining machinery, we wanted moles, we wanted lots and lots of things. And the luggage from Discworld was not really among them. You've not just missed the target theme, you've aimed at a completely different target altogether. And what's frustrating, and why we're having this intervention, Richard, is that you've absolutely bullseyed that target. Like I said, this is a gorgeous build, and if this had been a Gaslands Fantasy Month, I'd have been really pushing for you to get gold. The build is great. The fact that it's a transit van turned into luggage is inspired. The paint job really works for the natural materials you're working towards. But this has nothing to do with the theme, and it breaks my heart. A build like this could be a genuine winner, but please, Richard, I beg of you, think about the theme. Don't just find the weirdest, most abstract tangent or worst pun you can and build that. I know it's fun, but you're never going to win if that's your approach, and I genuinely think that you've got it in you to win a medal with this. At time of recording, we've already announced October, and I fully expect you to be building a great orc-themed helicopter, which is especially egregious because they were flightless, so it's probably too late to save you now, but I really look forward to seeing what you come up with in November.
What an incredible plethora of death-dealing delight there. And here's another new segment we've recently introduced, where we go over to the creator of Gaslands himself, no other than Mike Hutchinson, in a section we like to call Mike's Likes.
My slice, my slice. My slice, my slice. My slice, my slice. My slice, my slice.
Hello, Gaslands Mike here. Just looking through this month's 6 Feet Under competition entries, and I thought I would tell you which ones caught my eye. The first one that really made me laugh was Michael Alberto's truck with the massive cannon on the back. The truck itself is ridiculous and smashed to pieces, which I love, and the colours and the rust and everything, but just the way that the back of the truck is just like totally trashed the suspension, and the weight of that cannon is really viscerally described by the modelling. This just really made me laugh. I think it's wicked. I wish I had built a car like this. In fact, I might build a truck like this. And the fact that the front wheels are so high up on the suspension just really sells it so much. Plus all the batteries wired in. Anyway, Michael, love this build. So funny. Totally awesome. Okay, next up, really caught my eye. Fantastic build, would love to game against it, is the six-wheeled flaming hearse with the chap on top, Clint Cooke. Just really nice work. I particularly like the sort of chroming burn effect on the giant exhaust pipes coming out of the engine. Just looks really nice. And the overall effect of this build is just super cartoony and fun. I really like it. I like the six wheels on it and all of the spikes everywhere. Yeah, fantastic work. Very spooky Halloween build. Catching the 6 Feet Under theme really nicely. Lovely work, Clint. And my third pick for this month is Reese Lightspear's wonderful mole digging build. This beautiful blue and white car. I really like the paint job on the vehicle on top of the wheels, but the whole thing is just like so fun. The silhouette is really cool. I kind of wish the different wheels were mixed up so that it looked a little bit more ramshackle and disordered, but the big old drill bit on the front, I don't know, it's just so good. And I think that's a coffin on the back as well, so they've managed to get both elements of the theme tied in here. In my head, every Gaslands car has to have a jerry can on it somewhere, so that's also rad to see. Nice work, Reese. And my special pick for this month, notable, is just this incredible work of art by Richard Fairbrass. You've seen it and heard about it already, but my word, it's just a thing of beauty. The sculpting of the trim and the way that the whole thing comes together with the feet underneath and the teeth. Oh my goodness, love it, Richard. Incredible work. Well, thanks everyone for their entries. Really love looking through them all. And yeah, drive safe out there. Bye-bye.
And a big thank you to Mike Hutchinson there for giving us his opinion on this month's builds. Right then, well, I think it's about time we revealed the 3 winners, don't you? Hold on to your hats. Drum roll, please. In third place this month, we have Marc Giacco! Well done, Mark. Yet another ranking. You've been first, you've been third a few times now. That's quite a few trophies you've got already. We'll have to make you an admin at some point. Well done. A stunning build. Once again, some incredible scratch built elements, a beautiful paint job. You just missed out on the theme. Just missed out on the theme. As much as we love Techno Viking, wasn't quite there, but never mind. Well done. A £10 voucher will be making its way to you. So, who do we have in second place then? Who could it be? Arise, Lightspear! Our Indonesian maestro, a master of scratch-built parts. Arise has done a fantastic job, perfectly on theme. We've got coffins, we've got digging, we've got a big stompy, beautifully painted truck. Well done, Arise. Nice to see you back in the competition. It's been a little while. And in first place, it's Clint Cooke. Well done, Clint, on your first ever first place win. And what a well-deserved win it was. You ticked all the boxes for us this month. You did the scratch building, you did the trash bashing, you did some excellent design, some wonderful paints, a real character, and your build really stood out from the rest. Well done. You will be winning that top prize of a £30 Camil voucher. And so that's it for this month again. Who took part? Arise Lightspear, Brett Nugent, Clint Agius, Clint Cooke, Daniel Mumford, Jeff Burbage, Hardo Pace, Jodie Sims, Jorrel Bessey, Kev Williams, Marc Giacco, Martin Page, Michael Alberto, Nava Fishman Cherry, Richard Fairbrass, Richard Hubbard, Robert Schlemkovich, Sean Middlehurst and Tom Whittam. If you enjoy these videos, please consider buying me a coffee or a pint, whatever you like, at buymeacoffee.com/Matt Reeve. Thank you very much. I would be very grateful. If you like us even more, there's a shop where you can buy sweet hoodies, t-shirts, and all the Gaslands UK merch you could possibly ever want. And nobody did ever buy James a mug, did they? Oh, James. We could have got you one for your wedding if you hadn't blocked us on Facebook. And there we go. Another month over. Thank you very much to all the admin, particularly the admin that remembered to provide a review this month. You know who you are and who you aren't. What's next month? Next month? October, lads! October! That's going to be fun. Looking forward to doing that. So, until then, see you soon. Take care. Goodbye, Wasteland.